All right, I just hit record.
Wait a second. Let me grab coffee.
All right, welcome. We are in mid-January. We're recording on a Thursday instead of a Friday.
It's throwing me off, Jenna.
It's a little bit, yep, it's throwing us off a little bit, but we're going with it. And with it being mid-January, we're going to talk a little bit about food today.
Favorite topic.
Oh God, yes. Besides eating it, we've both worked in food for over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Many different food brands. And this is kind of the time, it's a big time of year for food brands, right? Because with everyone focusing on new year, new you, and kind of refocusing their eating habits and all of that, it's a hot time for brands to come out with new campaigns, new products, all that. So we've seen a good amount in the ether.
We have.
There are some trends popping up, and we thought we'd chat through them.
Yeah. I mean, again, no surprise. This has been bubbling for a while. Protein forward. How much protein do you need every day, Jenna? Do you know?
I aim for 100 grams.
Oh,
which
wow.
I feel like is a lot. I was going to say your body weight. I was like, that's not right.
Okay. Well, you might as well shoot for the stars.
Is there a specific number?
I think it depends on all your life
Like
stages.
half your body weight or something?
Yeah.
I aim for a higher, I'm not going to say high protein, but higher protein diet.
Yeah. As do I. And I know you've been on your health journey.
Wait, and I have to tell you, sorry, quick side note. Did you know, I heard this from a couple different sources. So the way to really quantify if a food is a high protein food, not like what everyone labels as high protein, but is to take the calories. So say it's a 160 calorie bar, lop off the zero. If there are 16 grams of protein or more, then it is a like real high protein source.
Interesting.
When you start to do that, you realize a lot of food labels as high protein is not high protein.
Oh, yikes. All right. I am going to start that today.
Try that little trick.
Check out my high protein.
See what happens. Go in your pantry. Look at everything.
Probably will. Yes. But in terms of the high level trends, value still. And I know we're going to wrap talking about where we can find value in everyday grocery life. Health, obviously, for me, ultra processed foods last year became really kind of on my radar in terms of how awful they can be in the long term and in the short term. My brother has this app that kind of zaps the nutritional everything and anything. And it is so depressing to see with all the additives and artificial plus how these things rank. Just good old fashioned staples that you probably feed your kids, your family. And it can lead to a lot of things, inflammation, diabetes, problems later in life, all the rest of it. So needless to say, it's not the most fun thing to dine with my brother. But yes, people are very...
You text me that app later.
Yes. Talked about protein, fiber being on the rise this year too, digestive, obviously very key to stay regular and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm sure that I could use a lot more protein and fiber in my diet. And like you, Jenna, I'm trying harder this year. Is Quitter's Day last Friday or this Friday?
Oh, I don't even know. I'll have to see.
I think I'm doing all right. I don't think I'm going to
Quitter's Day. That's a whole other opportunity for a really cool brand. Like for a brand, like a
just
chip
not cigarettes.
brand, like a not healthy brand to be like,
yes,
a candy brand. Celebrate Quitter's Day with us.
All right. Let's go find one.
That would be so fun.
So those are the food-based trends. And then I'm kind of more into the beverage-based trends, Jenna, to be honest. I think, I kind of curtailed my drinking ever since December 1. It was a very interesting time of year to make that decision. Carried it into this dry January. And actually I've been feeling pretty darn good. So this rise of alcoholic, non-alcoholic, and sort of alternatives, and the curiosity behind mushroom infusing, THC infusing, all that, and I know that the FDA hasn't quite made a position on these things yet either, but it's nice to have alternatives now before someone tells me it's terrible and it's going to end my life. Until that point.
Until somebody comes out with research on it causing
Yes.
cancer and
Yes. We're not
Alzheimer's and
there
all the
yet.
things.
Right. I'm
No,
sure
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so that's been fun. We're seeing them on a lot more menus out here in Chicago too. So they're very much available and present and a great option for people that are trying to take a beat away from alcohol, which we all know based on last year's study that came out that it is it is truly not good for the adult body.
Now,
Yes.
I have to ask you, so we've done the same thing. Actually, since this summer, I've really stopped drinking for the most part. I've maybe had just less than a handful of drinks in that time frame.
Amazing,
I
Jenna.
do have in my pantry a couple different THC, CBD drinks that I'll do every once in a while, mainly if we have like a social thing, if we're having people over or something. But I've seen a lot of mocktails on menus, but I have yet to see any like THC or CBD on actual restaurant menus
Interesting.
outside of Boston. Is it in Chicago?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's very omnipresent from our local kind of restaurant, neighborhood restaurant that is walking distance to a place we went for Jake's holiday party. And they're all different brands. Sometimes they're in, I mean, not really different formats, but some of the brands that are available carry different formats, like a powder that you could put in your soda
Yeah.
water, let's say.
Oh, we have those. Yeah, I have those
Yeah.
at home for sure.
Yeah.
That's so okay. So I'm
Yeah, it's
guessing
great.
that some of the restaurants in Boston probably already have this,
I
and
would
outside of
guess.
Boston, we just need to wait a minute.
Suburbs, Jenna.
I know.
Another topic for another day. Yeah, so just encourage, it just makes it easier. And there is a little bit of a stigma just in terms of like, I went out with some girlfriends for a birthday dinner last night, not mine. And, I'm like, is it so lame that I'm not having a glass of wine to kick this off? But I just, I think people are
Same
way
thing.
more accepting. Yeah.
I had the same thing over the holidays, and then I actually got so uncomfortable that I said to one of my friends, I'm not pregnant. You know that, right? And she like almost spit out her wine. She was like,
Yeah.
I would not think you were pregnant. I thought you were done. I was like, I am not.
She's like, there could be another reason, right? But again, back in the day, one would immediately jump.
Immediately assume that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the thing about these trends is none of them are surprising,
No.
right? They're all kind of on par with where we've been for the last year or two. From a brand perspective, that's nice because the campaigns that we put together take anywhere from 2 months to 6 months to happen
Sure.
at a minimum. And so having that consistency is nice, right? For the year, like knowing that these are still the products that are in the ether. I'm sure in another year they'll be shifting, but for now, we're still all on that. Protein is huge in our house.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's the protein forward beverages that are all of a sudden so in the face.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and remember we had a chat with somebody back this summer who was coming out with like a protein energy drink, which should be cool when it hits the market too.
Absolutely. Feeling as though, you're kind of one of the first in the space, launch, get the publicity around it quickly.
Yeah.
And I would say, being first to the market is important in this case.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything in my house is labeled protein. Actually, who was it? My nieces were visiting and we had like, there's protein drinks, there's protein waffles, there's protein snacks, everything. And my niece was like, you guys are very focused on protein, aren't you? Well,
Horrible.
I know. I'm like, well, if they're going to have a waffle, I'd rather them have a waffle with protein in it.
Kodiak cakes, Jenna, is that I tried to give that to my kids and they were like, no. And
Which
it was
one?
a giant Kodiak cake mix.
My kids love them. I love them.
Because your kids are good. Just kidding, kids. But honestly, they were like, get rid of this ASAP. And I put it on the group. It was a giant Costco box.
No, I love Cody. I have their waffles. I have their
like
French
8
toast
papers when I
sticks.
put it on the group text.
I just made their Kodiak from their muffin mix. You can actually make cookies. So I
Wow.
called them breakfast cookies. Yeah, no, I love them. But
Breakfast cookies.
Kodiak, if you're listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Kidding.
All right, maybe I'll try again.
Yeah, they are great. So one of the things you and I wanted to talk about that we saw was Dunkin' came out
Yeah,
with like a lineup of protein drinks
right. Protein refreshers, of course, just to make it ultra.
because their refresher line has taken off and it's fun. So I will say I was in Starbucks the other day and a guy came in, like, stereotypical protein drinker. I'm just going to say that.
Lots of muscles.
Yes, like a big dude. And he ordered the most protein focused drink. And all I could think about was all of the extra calories and fat and all the extra things in there. So I
Yeah.
wasn't really jumping on it too much. But then I saw this Dunkin' ad, and I have not looked into the nutritional content of the Dunkin' drinks. But I was just captivated by the ad. I was like, this is so fun. I want to get a drink.
So fun, vibrant, colorful, little Megan Thee Stallion action. Love her real bad.
Yes. I just absolutely loved it. So I probably will try one of their drinks because it just
You
it
should.
made me want to dance. It was fun.
Yes. And you're going to let me know how that goes. I, for some reason, am not super compelled to run out and do. I don't know. I don't know why. I also, the amount that Starbucks is in my life because of the tween is so kind of head throbbingly. I just don't even know. Because when I go
Well,
and I spend that kind of money, I'm like, yeah, this
you
is
also don't live in Massachusetts, okay?
yeah,
There is a
good
Dunkin'
point. Yeah.
every 10 feet. And
Yes.
like, you
But you
can't
know,
publicly claim that you're Starbucks over Dunkin' or Dunkin' over
I would
Starbucks.
say Duncan, though. I am Team Duncan for sure. Thank you, Ben Affleck. There's one on our corner, Jenna. It's
There you go.
actually cheaper than the Starbucks. So
Yeah,
there you go. By
there you go.
paces. By
Uh,
paces.
um, what else did we see? Oh, the McCormick partnership with Paris Hilton.
Yes.
Okay, so this one's interesting for me because I will say I worked on McCormick for 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
I love that brand. That
Yeah.
my whole spice
So do
cabinet
I.
is McCormick.
It's in my backyard in Baltimore,
Yep.
and it's home of Old Bay, which is the hands down probably the best spice in the line.
Yes. I I love everything about all of their different products. I thoroughly enjoyed my time working on that brand. So, all good things. I was a little confused when I first saw that they had signed a 2-year contract with Paris. Now, what I then found out
Paris
was
as
that
in
I
Hilton,
Paris
dear
Hilton, sorry.
listeners.
I then did find out though that I had missed some cultural moments over the last couple years. Paris
As did I.
had Cooking with Paris on Netflix. I think she had a lasagna video that went viral. So this is what I will say. I am going to watch Cooking with Paris, at least one episode. I want to understand it more.
I bet it would be entertaining. I do enjoy her way. I
Yes.
think she doesn't pretend to be someone she's not. She seems authentic to herself.
I also think she's like much smarter than she
Oh,
gets.
absolutely.
I don't have anything negative to say about her. I think she's great and she's
Yeah.
made her own way and she's been very outspoken about personal things. The collab didn't instantly make sense to me as a almost 40-year-old mom, the primary grocery shopper and meal prepper, cooker in my house. It wasn't making sense for me. And so this is where I kind of put my influencer hat on, right? And all the influencer work we've done. And when you're doing a campaign like this, it's so important to choose somebody authentic to your brand. Now, I 100% see, now that I've educated myself, the connection and why they would choose her and Cooking with Paris and all that. What I'm curious about is the vast majority of the consumer audience who is around our age, around our demo, are they in the same place as us where they probably didn't watch Cooking with Paris? And so it's not making sense to them either. That's my question is, does it feel
Yeah.
inauthentic to the majority of people because they maybe haven't watched it either?
Well, we also haven't seen how it's going to shape up, right? We're at the front end of this, so we
Yeah.
don't necessarily know the campaign components, the overarching strategy. Will she only use McCormick in the next season? I mean, that's worth its weight in gold. It's very organic. So I think it's a wait and see, but tick and tying the fact that they actually did the partnership is step one. There's other people in the ether where you're like, of course.
Oh, it makes so much sense. Well, and I
Yeah.
remember when we did influencer work for them.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
they've worked, one of the things I worked on heavily was their influencer program
Yeah.
and like what's Gabi cooking? She's huge
Yeah,
now. She has her own line of spices. So
huge.
obviously there's a conflict there, but she was an influencer for them for a while. And, you know, so I'm looking at like that level of
Hmm.
food involvement as
Yep.
compared to this. But I think it'll be really cool to see how it unfolds. And like I said, jumping in and learning a little bit more, it makes sense. I just am curious about if it's going to make that connection for the majority of the consumers. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. Something to look forward to
Yeah.
this year. Yeah, and I think beyond McCormick, the other big kind of value-driven news and also just growth news in this day and age, when grocery is still, dealing with inflated prices and various issues, is that Aldi, a brand that I worked on for quite a long time and kind of two different phases, is going gangbusters. And I like to see that, frankly. I was always a believer in their model. They are efficient from their business operations down to the in-store experience. Yes, it can be a little daunting when you go in there for the first time. Jenna, you know me, you know I'm not the best grocery shopper. And when I'm looking for tahini for an extra 3 minutes because I just can't figure out what section, it drives me mad. And
Yeah.
so therefore, just the follow this pathway is so great. There's
Yeah.
basically one choice. It's a brand you will not recognize, but chances are the brand you do recognize made that brand and it's in different packaging, made that product. And when the best part of it is checking out and getting the total. You're always like, come again?
Yeah.
Did
Like,
you
excuse me,
did
did you
you
miss
miss
half my
these
order?
5 pieces of produce that fresh produce that are also on this belt? Yeah, so they're, I think, 180 stores
Yeah.
nationally
And they opened
with three
200 last
distribution
year.
centers. Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy.
It's simply nuts. And of course, they're going into smaller real estate. They don't need the big footprint like some of these other legacy, conglomerate grocery
Yeah.
stores. So I really love to see it. Now, that said, it's been a hot sex and since I've hallowed their halls. TJ's, Trader Joe's is actually more on my path of travel
Yep.
related, but it's a very, very similar principle. But I would say, hey, if you haven't tried an Aldi, go give it a shot. You're not going to be disappointed.
So it's funny, I was actually going to bring up Trader Joe's because I personally have not shopped at an Aldi. I would. I just
Really,
don't.
never, Jenna. Never?
Never. I know. Maybe that's a homework assignment for me.
I
I
would
need to
I would
find
kind of
one.
like it to be. And hey, let's have a 5-minute briefing on
You
how
know
to
what?
do
We'll bring
so.
this to social. I will find my way to an Aldi and I will check it out. So I will take that assignment. I am a Trader Joe's fan. So I'm the type of person, I
I need
have like
to.
4 different grocery stores that I shop at for different things. I will say that. I'm like particular about certain things that I like, but
I think that's
often,
not uncommon, Jenna.
no, I think a lot of people do
Yeah.
that, but oftentimes I will say at least once a month I'll just do almost a full haul at Trader Joe's because I end up there and they have so many of the things I want. And every single time I check out, I'm like, this is amazing. Why don't I do this more?
Yeah.
It's just so nice. It's the same quality. Like, it's so nice to find a grocery bill that's, $100 cheaper than the other one that you normally get.
It is like a half reduction for sure at these
Yeah.
stores. Yeah. And over the holiday period, I was like, I gotta go to Aldi to get my baking necessities, flour, sugar, baking
Yeah.
soda, powder, vanilla, like, my gosh. And that stuff lasts for a very long time.
Yeah.
But but basement level prices for really good stuff.
We're not going to do this today. I don't want to run over, but another thing that we should chat about one of these episodes is white labeling. I mean,
Yeah.
you alluded to it a little bit with
Yep.
Aldi, but I think it's a really interesting area of CPG that every people in CPG certainly know about it
Yeah.
and understand it, but I don't think it's like commonly understood for average consumers.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so interesting, kind of how people view brands, and part of our job is to build brands, right? But a lot of those companies also white label. So
But I do think we have slowly shifted to brand agnostic, or maybe it's a generational thing,
I think it's a generational thing.
where they're becoming maybe less important just because there's also so much segmentation as well. It's not necessarily a monopoly in whatever category you're seeking. But yeah, that would be a great topic Jenna, for
Yes.
us in the future.
All right, my friend, let's take a quick look at our impact.
Yeah.
What is our impact?
Yeah, so I was actually reflecting on it this week, Jenna, to actually be prepared this time.
Love
Um,
it.
and this was easy because it was actually very much rooted in what I was doing this week as part of my workload. But we are developing our annual impact report for one of our nonprofit clients. And not only did it absolutely roll off the fingertips because we were actually partnering on all the work in
Mhm.
2025, great work, I might say. Putting it all in a document and kind of laundry listing and thinking through how to position it even more creatively, get expert testimonials, kind of weave in the fabulousness that was 2025 and this client really made me sit and say, okay, this is why we do this. It's purpose driven. It's something I might not have experienced 5 years ago without you as my partner, Jenna, in this endeavor that we're doing. And it felt really, really good. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love
And
it.
that's going to be locked and loaded by the end of April into the fall report. But I think it's going to be so fun to work on it this year because we helped to drive it.
Yeah. That was a really exciting one to take a look at as you were going through the outline. It was just fun to see like, oh yeah, we did that. We helped create that impact.
Yeah.
Another fun thing from this week, we had a conversation with an old colleague and client and chatted a little bit about some of the stuff they have coming up. And it was so nice to hear that one of the big focus areas for 2026 for them will be around purpose and around the programs that are creating a positive impact in the communities they serve.
Yeah.
Which is obviously so aligned to like what we aim to do all the time. It was nice to just see that at the beginning of this year and see that focus set for the next 11 and a half months. And we're kind of excited to see where they end up going there too. So
Absolutely. And I just love seeing their faces. It's so
I know
fun
it's
when you
so
can kind
fun.
of be like, these people are ultimately a text or a Teams call away is it's
Yeah.
like weirdly reassuring. So that just reconnection sparked a little joy this week as well. So that's a good one, Jenna.
All right. Well, I am off to hop on a flight tomorrow morning. But
Charles.
so that's all we have for today.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. And we will be back next week.
Bye, everyone.